Hey guys, Moose here. Welcome back to another episode of Stonehearth in our Ascendancy playthrough. Where did this come from? And today is March 17th. There are... Well, I actually... Oh man. Now that I look a little bit closer, there's a number of good ones. Descent came out on this date in 1995 for MS-DOS, which I believe... I might be mixing it up with a different game. I think that was a... kind of a... space shooter kind of thing where you're like in a spaceship going through a mine on Mars or something. Save this. Watchtower. I'm going to build some more of these because they're very cool. I like how they look. Having them on the wall is very, very nice looking. I like the aesthetic of it. There we go. So that's a good one. I want to actually go and take a look at... There we go. Alright, that was very strange. Okay, we need to pause because we're getting attacked. Okay, there we go. So it looks like I have it one block off. Put one right there, and then we'll put one in the middle later. Or maybe right away, actually. Yeah, let's do one in the middle. Watchtower. It's not going to be precise. And I think that is a pretty good spot. Yeah, it's a little closer to the far side, but that's fine. Alright, there we go. And let's see where we're being attacked real quick. Oh, this is nothing. It's just a fucking stray goblin wolf. You guys are whiny. How did the thing even get in there? That is so bizarre. I genuinely don't even know where that thing came from. Anyway, getting back to games that came out today. Well, actually, we're not... In the end, we're not going to talk about a game that came out today. We're going to talk about an announcement that happened today, which is very surprising, because I did not realize it was 2 years ago. But before that, we also got Rune Factory Frontier, which I can't talk about too much, but Rune Factory 4 is a game that I absolutely love. One of the best games on the 3DS. There's also Perfect Dark, which needs no introduction. BioShock Infinite, which was a fantastic game. There's a really lot of good games that came out. Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. That was 2003. There was a Broken Sword title, which was, I think, like a point-and-click adventure game, which are underrated in my opinion, but quite good. Final Fantasy Type 0 HD, which Karen enjoyed, but I don't see the appeal of. Why does BioShock Infinite have 2 release dates 2 years apart? I'm just gonna assume that was like a remaster. Battlefield Hardline, but the one that we're gonna be talking about happened on this date, March 17th, 2 years ago today in 2015. And I don't know if you're going to believe me when I say this, but that's when the Nintendo Switch was announced. Which is a long time ago. I thought that... Why would they announce it 2 years ahead of time? It seems kind of silly, right? I mean, we didn't know anything about it for a very long time, so it was off the radar. Was there a leak that I'm not remembering where they kind of like had to announce it? I genuinely have no idea why it was announced that early. And I genuinely have no idea why they made so few of the damn things. I understand they felt like the Wii U was not a success, so they didn't want to make too many and be stuck with inventory, but like... There's a difference between... Well, did the Wii U launch with Skyward Sword? I don't know. Maybe they just didn't have very much faith in the Breath of the Wild development team. But I mean, that game was amazing. And it's difficult for me to understand how or why they would not have been able to know that and see that it was a great game. And then accurately predict demand based on that because it was so damn good. But yeah, what are they going to do? I actually was I picked up Horizon Zero Dawn today, which I'm looking forward to playing later tonight if I have time, but it's looking like I probably won't. I have a lot of work to do still, and it's already pretty late. But the GameStop near me had like flyers up. You know, this is smart. This is good business. I don't like GameStop. In fact, I hate GameStop. I didn't want to buy the game there. I wanted to buy it at Target because that was the other place that would have it nearby, but they were out. So I went to GameStop. And that's no knock on their employees. I just don't... I recognize the company is really shitty. I don't like how they act or treat their employees, so I don't want to buy from them. Simple as that. But I went there anyway because that's where the game was that I wanted. Could have got it off Amazon, but I wanted it today. I don't know why, because I'm not going to be able to play it. But regardless, anyway, all this aside, they had these flyers saying like, hey, you know, you can reserve a Wii U, or you can reserve a Switch. And I was like, oh, well, I was thinking about asking them when they expect to get I keep saying Wii U's. When they expect to get Switches in stock anyway, because, you know, I'd kind of like to know when they're coming back. Because nowhere has them right now. Absolutely nowhere. And it said on the flyer, and I had to, like, normally I just kind of scan for a date and say, oh, okay, that's when they're coming. This time I had to look a little closer and read what it actually said because I didn't believe it. They're not getting any until April 16th. That's like an entire month away. That is a ridiculous lead time. That tells me that... Okay, well, let me talk about this from a manufacturing perspective. Let's start there. When you're making a product, every component has its own lead time, and lead time is basically how long it takes to get to you, or to be, like, available. So if you're talking about the lead time of a individual Nintendo Switch console, that should not be very high, to be completely honest with you. It should be pretty low, actually. And this is probably... I have to imagine this is probably not something that they would make at multiple factories. There's probably just one place that makes them. And it's probably contracted. Like, they're not, it's not a Nintendo owned, well, obviously, I don't think Nintendo owns any factories, but they're contracted to make Switches. So, realistically, it's really hard for me to imagine that any component in a Nintendo Switch has longer than like a week lead time, because it's just electronics. And on top of that, I have to imagine that they generally have contracts in place to keep making them. They certainly did not make as many as they thought they were ever going to need to make before launch. To me, seeing that... I'm not in some backwater here, just to be clear. This is the San Francisco Bay Area. Which, by the way, if the manufacturing is happening over in Asia, which it probably is, it should be one of the first places in North America to start seeing the shipments, because they'll hit the ports where they need to go anyway, and then they'll just be here. Or the airports, but still, even there, the flight's shorter, though that's really a trivial difference at that point. It's very, very surprising to see that kind of a delay in responding to the market for a newly launched console. And it makes me think Nintendo was extraordinarily idiotic in how they managed this, or it's deliberate. And if it's deliberate, they're still fucking stupid, in my opinion. Because I think there's a lot of people who... What are you doing? Holy shit, you moron. How did you even get up here? Oh, I hate you so much. Alright. Whatever. What must have happened for him to even get... I don't even know. That is so weird. But yeah, I feel like in that situation, maybe there's something I don't know. I don't understand clearly what is going on in Nintendo's minds, but for an entire month, and not really an entire month, let's be honest, it launched at the beginning of the month, so really we're talking about like a month and a half lead time to get new Switches out. That's bizarre. It's really, really strange from my perspective. I see long lead time products in manufacturing, of course. They exist, and they exist for a reason. And that reason is usually that they're a lot more complex. They're not simple come on, seriously, you guys aren't going to save this poor bastard after you left him to die? Alright, someone will get him eventually. I'll keep an eye on him just to make sure. But long lead time products are things that are really usually not used very much or involve a time-based process of some kind. And that could be a number of things. Like if you needed to, like I would say alcohol, you could consider to be a potentially long lead time item. I don't think that's really much of a problem though, because as a food product the demand is fairly stable. You know, we're past the prohibition era of stuff, so you're not really going to see massive demand fluctuations outside of normal seasonal differences, so that's a lot easier. But I don't know, I just don't get it. I don't see how they could possibly be completely dry on Nintendo Switches to the degree that you're basically in one of the largest markets for them, not going to be able to find one for a good month. It's very, very strange to me. And I don't understand how that would make Nintendo more money to do that. If I was in control there, I'd say, yeah, okay, fine, shorting the stock so that you have stock outs, fine. I don't have a problem with that, if that's really driving up demand. But you want to react to that within a good, like, week or two, so that those people who are then hyped up, seeing the demands, saying like, oh man, I really got to get on this train quickly because I want in. You really need to capitalize on that before people start realizing the flaws that your product has. And believe me, it has flaws. The only thing that would redeem it, or the only thing... Oh fuck, you're gonna die, aren't you? You're actually gonna die. And there's nothing I can do. We'll give it a shot. Everyone go... Yeah, you're fucked. Alright, lovely. I don't know how you got up there, and I don't know how no one came and picked you up. I genuinely have no fucking clue, but here we are. So we're gonna promote another night. Who can we get? But yeah, what I was saying is... I really wish I could say reasonably that I expect that Breath of the Wild would play well enough on a Switch that I would respect a Switch. Let me put it, or respect console gaming more. Let me put it this way, if I play Horizon Zero Dawn and it runs more or less flawlessly on my old school, like, first round PS4, I'm in. Like, that, I respect that greatly, because it seems to look gorgeous, apparently, so if I can get it to run like that on a PS4 that's old, fantastic. That's really, really well done. That's what you need out of consoles. But if I go and play Breath of the Wild on a Switch and it runs like ass and has frame dips, it's still one of the best games to come out in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, but fuck off. Seriously? You can't get this to run properly? Like, you need to tone down the graphics a bit if that's the case. And by the way, Breath of the Wild actually doesn't look that amazing anyway. It looks good, but it's not crisp, and you can see things where it's like, okay, well, I can see they cut corners here to make the processing better, because it clearly needs it, given that even at this level of detail it still has serious issues. So, I don't know, I'm just... Yeah, I don't know, we'll see. I really want to see how... military still hasn't come out here, it's fucking ridiculous. I really want to see how Horizon Zero Dawn runs. That's really going to be the first really interesting thing for me, and then after that it'll be a question of, God, you're not even, what are you guys doing? You're not even building anything. Oh, are you mining? Not even really... Oh, you finished. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Maybe that's why no one came. Alright, well, we'll get a new person anyway. But yeah, I really want to see how Breath of the Wild, or not Breath of the Wild, Horizon 1 runs on my crappy PS4. Because I recently, I mean, you know the drill. It's, we're approaching the end of Q1 for anyone who's in business, which is the first fourth of the year. Usually at the end of March is the end of Q1, and then Q2 starts up. So anyone who gets bonuses gets bonus payouts a little after that, generally, depending on how timely your company is. For me personally, they're not very timely, and it's understandable given some recent events within the company, just and not like major things, it's just people are moving around. So I've had like 3 different bosses in the last 6 months or so. Oh, inventory's getting out of control here, so let's take a look at that. And as a result, bonus payouts were a little bit delayed just because, you know, you don't even know who the hell I report to. And got that recently, and like I said, tax season is starting, so there's that to look forward to. And so there's money to spend is what I'm getting at, and I was seriously considering getting a PS4 Pro, and I'm still thinking about it, but it's kind of throwing away money. Oh wow, I don't need that. And let me clarify, it's not kind of throwing away money, it is throwing away money. But I sort of... I don't know. I feel like I could make an excuse. If Horizon Zero Dawn is really good, and I can get like 150 to 200 for my PS4, which is probably extremely unlikely, maybe I could justify putting in the money to get a PS4 Pro. But probably not. Oh well. Life goes on, it's not really a big deal. And if I wanted it, I could get it. It hurts me because it's probably a waste of money. Especially because, and it also hurts me because I'm getting a Switch. So money's going out the door pretty soon here either way. I mean, if they'd ever come back into stock, right? But I'm gonna have to factor that into costs and everything and make sure that I don't overspend, but the temptation is definitely there. Which is funny, because in all of this, I have literally zero desire to get an Xbone. None whatsoever. I think out of all consoles, all handhelds, all everything, I have never had any inclination whatsoever to get any Microsoft console product. But for everything else, I have had interest, let's say, in getting... Was that silver that I queued up? Yeah, okay. I've had interest in getting every other console, pretty much. Even these days, thinking about going back and getting like a... Actually, let's see about this. Thinking about picking up something retro? There's really no point, though. I'm not really a collector. I've thought about getting into it, but the space doesn't exist, and I don't... Spending the money there doesn't make any sense, so... I have better things to spend money on. Organizational stuff. Could use another hard drive, I guess. Some video storage wouldn't hurt. Totally unnecessary, but it wouldn't hurt. Yeah, I don't know. There's always things to spend money on if you look closely enough. Why am I holding on to these? I think I had 44 people have died, that's fucking insane. You know what I really need to do? I need to build like a graveyard or something. Probably work on that at some point. Maybe up here. That might be good. Kind of get attacked through there though, so I don't know how I feel about that. Let's start building... That's not what I want. Let's actually do the graveyard next. That seems like a good idea. Let us get some fences going. Let's just make 100 total. And then I'm sure by the time I actually get around to building it, I'll have forgotten what the hell those were for, and I'll have sold them. But anyway, regardless of my inevitable future failings, that is going to do it for this episode. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll join us for the next one as well, as we have our doors broken down by this asshole ogre. Maybe the military will listen this time. It's like if it's not in their sightline, they're just not going to bother. No? You don't care? I mean, we're losing, like, a lot of our doors, though. Please? Okay. I'm gonna end the episode. I just want to... Fuck, it's down to 3 idiots. Okay, well... This isn't gonna end well, so let's pause, actually. God, I fucking hate my military. You guys are so stupid. I think they're coming now? It's difficult to tell. Sorry, I know I'm gonna end the episode here, but I don't really want to have another knight die. That doesn't make me very happy here. Let's kill this guy first. Need to get everyone together, which does not appear to be a thing that's going to happen anytime soon. Okay. Yeah, let's speed it. I think we got this now, so let's speed it up. Alright. Too bad that daily update didn't come a little... Okay, we actually rescued him this time. Fantastic. You didn't let your buddy die. Nice work. You guys are still pricks. Alright. Come on, come on, come on. Almost there. God, Ooh. Oh no, okay, that's just a vase. That looked like, from here, it looked like a stick of dynamite or something. I was like, what the hell is this? Almost dead. Please die. Please kindly cease living. There we go. Alright. Everything I said for the outro. Just remember that again now. Thanks for watching. Take care.